Well, good Tuesday evening, everyone. Todd Warren here on Facebook Live tonight, as well as streaming on the weather page of our website, ktalnews.com, with updates on what we can expect here for the next few days. Going to spend much of the time tonight talking about the timing of the severe weather tomorrow. Looks like another decent round of severe weather could be possible once again Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening. I'll show you basically what we're going to be looking at, how bad those things could get, and of course we'll talk about timing and location of the severe weather as well. It does look like most of it that we'll see will be during the evening tomorrow, and then afternoon and evening on Thursday. I'll show you the details on this severe weather. Looks like quiet weather settles in Friday and for Mother's Day weekend. And now, majority of the models showing much of next week could be soggy again. But this just doesn't quit. As again, that's what we're looking at right now. I'll show you how much rain we might get both here in the next couple of days, as well as what could be on the way in the next week and a half, which would include next week's rain. If you have a question or a comment, feel free to ask away. Watch closely. I'm going to probably answer your question about timing at your location as I go through this. I have put quite a few pause points in here, which should give you a general sense on timing. So watch for that. But again, if you have another question, I'll be more than happy to answer those. If you just want to say hello, Todd, that's great, as it is tradition to go down the list and say hello to everyone. So Gary is first on board tonight. Hello there, Gary. Betty, hello. Sarah, greetings. Aaron, hello. Bonnie, I think wind and hail probably going to end up being the biggest widespread issue, Bonnie, but a few tornadoes obviously will be possible. And you're in that part of the Arklatex which will have the best chance tomorrow. Lewis, good evening. BW, hello in Lake Erling near Taylor, Arkansas. Jack, hello in DeQueen. You may need it tomorrow evening, Jack. It's going to be rather active. Christopher, hello there in Florida. Brian, hello. Sheila, greetings. Jack says, whoever prayed for this rain can pray for my bank account. I second that, Jack. That's a good one. I like that. Let's see. Evening, Rusty. We do need to turn that. And today was hot, as you'll see in the second. Eric says it's now 81 in his neck of the woods in Colbert, Oklahoma. It is still hot, Phyllis. And Courtney. I appreciate that, Courtney, and thanks for watching. And let's get to it and show you what's on the way here. You can see the sunsets in both Shreveport as well as in Texarkana. The partly cloudy sky this afternoon at the Bear Creek Smokehouse and as well as in DeKalb and DeQueen. That's at sunrise this morning. Lots of clouds streaming over the Arklatex. Made it to 91 this afternoon in Shreveport. I believe that is the hottest of the year so far. 93 degrees, the hottest of the year so far in Texarkana, and that's the hot spot today across the area. Temperatures right now mainly in the low to middle 80s across the Arklatex. And moving forward, this is what we're looking at. We have this big upper level low situated across the northern Rockies. Here is the spoke of this wheel, if you will, of low pressure that produced the severe weather yesterday in the plains. It's now doing the same around the Great Lakes. Here comes the next spoke, which is going to rotate around, and that's what's going to push the cold front into the Arklatex and provide some support for severe weather tomorrow. So let's take you through the next couple of days. You interstate viewers, Sarah and Christopher, you can watch your neck of the woods, and you can see that front easing closer to the Arklatex during the afternoon. It will begin to enter the area tomorrow evening, and it is going to take a good day to make it through most of the area. So we'll see a second round of thunderstorms develop further to the south on Thursday, and then we'll finally see this front clear our area down to the south. And you can see, Sarah, it looks like that area of low pressure going to impact you later this week. And Christopher, looks like you're going to get some rain maybe Friday night into Saturday. The front may actually make it to Florida there, Christopher. I don't think you're going to cool off that much, but it may make it down there to you. And you can see another perhaps reinforcing shot of drier air coming in heading into the weekend. All right, let's get into the details. First of all, the risk outlook for tomorrow from the Storm Prediction Center really hasn't changed that much from yesterday. Enhanced risk north. The risk is much lower as you move near and south of Interstate 20 for tomorrow. And you can see the expanse, how much of the country is going to be impacted by this risk of severe weather for tomorrow. Thursday, everything shifts to the south. As of right now, we just have a slight risk. Futurecast kind of upped a bit on the intensity of the rotation swaths you'll see. So Thursday could pose some issues for the southern half of the Arctic. Up Interstate 30 and points north, you should be okay. And actually, north of the Arkansas-Louisiana line should be okay for Thursday, to be honest with you. All right, so here we go on the details on the timing, and then I'll get to the specifics on intensity here in a second. So let's talk timing first. And you can see the clouds increasing tonight, going through the day tomorrow. The morning clouds will begin to break up as we go into the afternoon. That's going to allow temperatures to warm back into the low 90s. 5 o'clock, you can see the thunderstorms developing along the northwest edge of the area. And this is Futurecast, the ACRRR, which is coming in right now, pretty much in the same spot. So the timing looks good here. Good agreement in the high-res models on that. And you can see the progress. The line moves from Hope to Texarkana to Atlanta, Queen City, Linden, Jefferson, Longview by 7 p.m. Still some decent intensity. Once the sun goes down, we will begin to see a decrease in the intensity. Still could be, again, the sun's still up here at 8 o'clock. And then watch what happens afterward. Everything's very quickly, well, that may be strong. Everything weakens as we go through, 9, 10, 11 o'clock, and we should be done with the severe weather threat for the most part by midnight if Futurecast is correct. And everything will end shortly thereafter. And then Thursday, here we go. You can see the clouds, and then notice, here comes a big flare-up of thunderstorms. And how far west these develop will play a big role on whether or not they're going to impact our area. If they develop over the eastern edge of the region, they will become severe after they move out. So we'll have to watch this first wave of development. I might add that the afternoon run of Futurecast had this right here. All right, so take this with a grain of salt. You could see more thunderstorms developing along the front during the early evening hours. Those two will persist and then begin to weaken once we get past 10 o'clock tomorrow evening. So East Texas, Northwest Louisiana, I said tomorrow evening, Thursday evening is what I meant to say. But you can see everything kind of falls apart moving into Friday morning. All right, let's talk about the potential storm impacts for tomorrow. You could see timing strongest. I have 4 to 10, and now looks like it could be 5 to 10. But very late afternoon through the first half of the evening is when the storms will be at their strongest. Wind gusts, we could see some gusts up to 70 miles per hour, maybe a little bit higher in some of the stronger storms, especially early in the evening. Large hail, quarter to ping pong ball sized hail will be possible, especially right after the storms get going from 4 to 6, 7 o'clock. That's when the hail, the bigger hail, the risk of that will be at its highest. Also looking at the possibility for a few tornadoes. I'll have the details on that in a second as far as placement. And where we get these strong storms, those locations could get a quick inch to over 2 inches of rain. And those will be somewhat scattered in nature. Okay, so that's the kind of the magnitude of the threats that we'll be facing. Let's show you the potential location. This is rotation potential from Futurecast. And you can see the first wave is basically tomorrow afternoon. One thing that's different is that Futurecast has a little bit more potential here further to the south, closer to I-20. Earlier, everything was up here, I-30 and points north. All right, so that's a little bit of a subtle change. So we'll have to watch the western edge of the area tomorrow evening. But basically, northwest half of the Arctic here, if you draw a line right across the middle of the area from southwest to northeast, that's where the tornado risk will be highest. You see these swaths, don't zero in on an exact location. Oh, there's going to be a tornado in Jefferson. What we're looking for here is which part of the area. That's what these serve to answer. And you can see Thursday, last wave of this, you can clearly see that first flare up, eastern edge of the area maybe, and then that second flare up right there further to the south of Interstate 20, somewhere south of Interstate 20. May not be eastern DeSoto Parish, but somewhere south of Interstate 20. So that's where, and notice the intensity here. Earlier we did not have any dark reds or blues. So a little bit of an uptick in the intensity of the rotating updrafts here with Futurecast 2, which is not a good trend. I think that has a lot to do with the temperatures it's seeing is a little bit warmer for tomorrow. Hail potential. And again, this goes through Thursday. Did I not change the time? I did not. Let me, actually, before I do that, I'm going to go backwards here. I meant to change, make this go from Wednesday to through Thursday. Just a second. This thing's acting up on me. So let's take a look. This is the threat where we could see some, notice the whites here. So these storms, even Thursday, could have the potential of producing some decent hail over the southern half of the Arklatex. And let me switch this over. Very easy to do that. And I'm just going to, and you can see where the hail is heading into. This is basically 5 to 10 o'clock. You can see once we get into the evening hours how those swaths start to disappear and not be as intense. So early evening is where that risk is going to be highest as far as the hail. As far as wind gusts, again, I have everything below 30 miles per hour shut off. So you can see for tomorrow, the strongest winds will be over the northwest half of the area with these thunderstorms, where they arrive sooner. And you can see, if you look real close, you can see some of this color, 70 miles per hour. And we could have a few gusts even higher. That's not out of the realm of possibility. So that's what we're looking at as far as the location of the wind. And here is rainfall excuse me, potential. And you can see this kind of highlights where the storms tomorrow will be, these swaths. So we could have a pretty good area here in East Texas, another cluster moving across the northern edge of the area. These would be Thursday's strongest storms. So you can kind of see the part of the Arklatex which will be impacted by both of those. All right, so that is the short range view of things. I'm going to pause things here and get this ready for grain of salt time when I go out a little bit further, but I'm going to pause and take a look at some of the comments here. Michelle, I pretty much answered your question already, so there you go. Just watch the first half of the evening there in Texarkana. It is hot, hot, hot. You got that right, Melissa. Christopher, the heat index here today did make it to 100, so it was hot. And Melissa, again, I pretty much answered your question as well. You're quite welcome, Mary. I really haven't seen the HRRR yet. Let me take a look at that. I do have it right here. So here's a look at the rotation swaths with the HRRR, and you can see they are not quite as intense here with tomorrow evenings, and it does kind of highlight the same areas. Kind of interesting, isn't it? We have this area, and then here in the western part of the Arklatex. Based on this, I would say the answer is the same. Actually, you know, Thursday could be more of an issue too. So don't discount Thursday. And this doesn't go out to Thursday yet. Again, that data is still coming in. So you saw, hot off the presses, the HRRR again shows a few isolated tornadoes. Again, same area, northwest half of the Arklatex that I mentioned earlier. Jesse has a that's a pretty funny, Jesse. I like that. Jesse's got a pretty good couple of those. Let's see. I'm working on it, Nico. I'm working on no tornadoes. Yeah, that last wave Thursday, Betty. That's the one you'll have to watch. David Doddridge, your main issue is going to be tomorrow evening, and by the time they get to you, they probably will not be as strong as they were earlier in the evening. They should be starting to weaken by the time they get to them. Obviously, will still be strong to severe. Mostly in the Betty, there is that first wave that could develop up towards Claiborne Parish, and obviously that's close to you. So you have to watch the middle part of the afternoon. Then after that, you should be okay. Matt, Houston, I think the worst is going to be to your north. You have to watch Thursday, Matt. That will be your issue, and again, a slight risk, I would say, at the very worst. And Anthony, again, Texarkana, I showed you the timing earlier, mid-evening, and again, all severe weather threats possible there. So, and again, the outline that I put with those potential do apply to Texarkana. All right, let's talk longer range. Running out of time here, and you can see the waves here with the final wave late Thursday. Several days of dry weather. Then we're going to be looking at this pesky upper level disturbance, another one following behind it. So we're going to be looking at a chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms pretty much each and every day next week, starting Sunday night. All right. And you can see the 7-day outlook. You might recall last night I showed this graphic from WPC. Amounts for a half an inch. My, how 24 hours can change things. Hence grain of salt time, right? Things can change, so you can see 1 to over 3 inches of rain possible. WPC highlighting the southern half of the Arctic. Here's the latest 10-day numbers from the model blend, also showing again amounts. Obviously, that should say 2.5 inches in Mansfield. You're not going to be spared, but nonetheless, 2 to 3 inches southern half the area, 1 to around 2 inches over the north over the course of the next 10 days, and most of this, for most folks, will be next week. All right, as you saw earlier with the 2-day totals from Futurecast. As far as the longer range look at temperatures, we are going to see a pretty nice drop. Again, tomorrow I do think low 90s again in the cards with the sunshine in the afternoon. The front should move through Shreveport late enough that we'll make it well into the 80s. The European ensemble highs are always too cool, excuse me, for the most part. And you can see that I do have low 80s for this weekend, and you can see the warm-up that will follow. Lows could dip into the 50s Saturday morning, and then the moisture gradually returns next week. The GFS ensembles, probably a better view, more accurate view of temperatures for highs. Again, the cooler air heading into Friday and this weekend. And then the warm-up, notice the end of the 2-week period, we're back into the 90s. Lows warm back up into the upper 60s to low 70s. That tells me there's some longer range upper level high pressure on the way. All right, so nice and warm there for the next for the second week of our 2-week period. Again, this is May 7th. This will take us through the 21st of May. Again, just a few days ahead of Memorial Day weekend. So going to get a bit on the hot side eventually. But again, Mother's Day looking pretty nice, even though we will see the clouds begin to increase across the area. Let's see. Santa's here to send Arctic chills. We're waiting, Chris. We're waiting. Santa always promises, but he never delivers once we get past May or into May. Anthony, you're welcome. Michelle, I wish I could, Michelle. It would be sunny and 75 every day in April. That's true. We would have the Mansfield bubble. Yeah, we used to blow bubbles everywhere. Betty, there is not. I mean, it's possible, but I have so many graphics going to the website. Each one of those frames adds a lot of work to the system that creates it. Okay, so unfortunately, and look at it this way too, Betty. Those swaths that you see are for 3 hours. So those are during a 3 hour. So that's why you see them build out, and then they do something like this, okay, because they're 3 hour swaths. So you can kind of get a sense of that general time frame. Again, don't zero too much on exact time or exact location. What part of the afternoon, which part of the area. That's the way you should look at those graphics. Hello there, Jeff. Hopefully you're doing well. And Jane, you're quite welcome. So let's take a look at the forecast before I wrap you up tonight. And you can see that tonight is looking mostly cloudy eventually. We stay warm. Lows over most of the area will be in the low to middle 70s, including 74 in Shreveport. right around 70 degrees in Texarkana. Tomorrow we will see thunderstorms rolling to the northwestern edge of the area very late in the afternoon, probably no earlier than 4, probably closer to 5 or 6, and then they move across the northwest half of the area during the evening before falling apart after midnight. Ahead of those storms, we will see some sun. It will be rather windy as well. 91 for the high in Shreveport, 88 in Texarkana, 91 degrees for the high temperature in in Natchitoches. And your 10-day forecast shows that we are going to be looking at another round of thunderstorms, severe weather possible Thursday afternoon and evening. Could happen a little bit sooner Thursday, especially you folks in the eastern part of the Arklatex. Friday and Mother's Day weekend looks pretty nice, basically normal. Highs in the low 80s, lows close to 60. And then next week, each and every day, at least some chance of rain, which could be highest in terms of our chances during the middle part of next week, and a couple of inches of rain looking possible next week as well. So that will do it for me tonight. But before I go, of course, tonight's presentation a bit depressing with the 2 waves of severe weather on the way. So I got to try, and Betty mentions depression, so I got to try to lift your spirits. Got a little story to tell you. Long time ago, I recently had a girlfriend, and we went on to a costume party, and I went as a turtle, and she went as the shell, and was actually on my back. And someone came up to us at the party and said, "Who's on your back?" I said, "That's Michelle." Thank you. Thank you very much. Hopefully that removes some of the depression, Betty. Maybe help you out a little bit. Well, that will do it for me tonight, folks. I don't know if I'll be able to get on here tomorrow night because obviously the storms will be ongoing. If they're not tornadic, obviously I will be on. But if they are, obviously I'll be on the air. Watch the weather article as these things get going, as I will be posting occasional radar pics with explanations there during the late afternoon and evening hours when I'm not on the air. So that is the plan for tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Always a pleasure chatting with everyone. Hopefully I'll be able to talk to you again tomorrow night and Thursday night. Until then, if you're out and about late tomorrow evening, stay safe, be alert, and make sure you have a way to get those warnings as they're issued by the National Weather Service. We'll hopefully talk to you again tomorrow. Until then, have a great night.